Hi everybody, welcome to the Sew Essential vlog. I'm Lucy and I'm here today to answer your questions. So I'm doing a little Q&A session off the back of lots and lots of you participating a while ago and asking questions that you would like answered here on the vlog. So thank you to everybody who took part. We had an overwhelming response and I'm working my way through those questions now, and I will do a call out again once I get to the end of them for anybody else who would like to take part as well. Anything I talk about today, as always, you can find on our lovely website. You'll find the link to our website below. And if you like what you see today as well, please like and subscribe, because we bring a new video of sewing goodness to you every Friday on this channel. Before I get started, I'll just show you what I'm wearing today, which is a pair of ready-to-wear jeans, a ready-to-wear jumper, and then a McCall's blouse that I have actually vlogged about before underneath the jumper. So yeah, that's the look I'm going for quite a lot at the moment. I'm wearing lots of blouses and shirts that I've made under jumpers and cardigans, and it feels like it's just breathing a fresh lease of life into my handmade wardrobe, so that's great. So let's get started with the questions. I've got a little list here because I won't be able to remember them all. So Michelle Page asked what she would love to know and learn is how to place buttons on a blouse, and she says she thinks that scares her the most. And she also said she would like pattern ideas for French terry as well. So thanks for that, Michelle. With regards to the buttons, there's often a button spacing guide with the sewing pattern that you can lay on the bodice piece, and it will show you where to space the buttons. But obviously that might not quite work for you. It might not be in exactly the right place for you, depending on where things are sitting on your body and your body shape. So there's a few tips that you can use. Firstly, try the blouse on before you do the buttonholes. Try it on, pin it in place, identify if there's any areas where there's a gape, and then put a pin there and see if you can resurrect the problem, and then work from that initial pin to work out where to place the other buttons. So often people find that, you know, it might gape a little bit around the bust area, so position your pin where you need it as your starting point and then work from that. And the way you can work from that, you could use the button spacing pattern piece, or you could use a tape measure, but what I like to use is my Simplex sewing gauge, and we sell these on the website. I'll pop a link to these below, but this helps you to just evenly space your buttonholes. You just line it up where you want the initial one to be and then spread them out as required across the placket. So and if you're not sure how many you want, you know, you could look at what the pattern suggests as a guide and work from there. So that's how I go about spacing buttons. In terms of French terry, it's a knit fabric, and the front of the fabric's usually a single jersey, and then the back is usually it's usually a single knit jersey on the top, and then the back has lots of little loops on it, and it's a really lovely feeling fabric. The ones I've worked with, they've always had quite a lot of drape. They've always been very, very soft and very comfortable to wear. And I think it's great for all year round, really. It can feel quite warm, but also I've got a t-shirt that I made in French terry that I always feel, I don't feel like I ever get hot in it, let's put it that way, and I would definitely wear it in the summer as well. The print's usually on the right side of the fabric, and then the loop side is usually plain, but that's not always the case. But I think because it's nice and drapey usually, I would go for it's generally used for things like, I made a Nora t-shirt by Tilly and the Buttons. I'll try and pop a link to that and the fabric below, and I have worn it on previous vlogs, so you can have a look at it there if you want to. But I think like the Nora t-shirt is like a loose fitting t-shirt or jumper pattern that would work quite well. Something like the Linden sweatshirt would work well, or a long cardigan. There's quite a few patterns for longer cardigans on our website. And then I think even things like a simple t-shirt dress that you might chuck on to go to the beach in the summer, I think that could work quite well in French terry as well. So I hope that's given you some inspiration, Michelle, and I hope it's given you the confidence to go ahead and position those buttons as well. Donna Seaslick asked, could I make a blouse in viscose fabric? Absolutely, Donna, go for it. I've got loads of blouses in viscose fabric. It's a lovely fabric to work with. There's different types of viscose. Some of them are more, I've got more of like almost like a slubby effect, and they're a bit heavier weight. And then there's some very, very lightweight fluid ones. What I would say is if you're working with a very lightweight fluid viscose fabric and it's likely to move around a lot, I would cut that on a single layer. If you try and fold your fabric and cut it on a double layer, you might find that your pattern pieces are slightly different. That's happened to me before. Another little tip as well is when you're doing the pieces that need to be interfaced, like facings and button bands and things like that you might need to interface, what I would recommend is cut your interfacing out with the pattern piece, and then iron the interfacing onto the fabric, and then cut the fabric out, because that way you get it absolutely precise, and there's no room for that fabric moving around. Another little tip for viscose fabric is that generally, I think sort of the lighter weight ones again crease a bit more. Those sort of heavier weight, more slubby viscose fabrics don't tend to crease at all, but the lighter weight ones I would probably go for a print rather than a plain, because the creases will show up more on a plain. It's just because it's natural fibres, made from natural fibres, those fabrics do crease more easily. And I think that's sort of all my tips for working with viscose fabric. Sometimes they can fray quite easily on the raw edges as well, so you just have to watch out for any stray threads. Just make sure you snip those away because they might get caught on your sewing machine as you sew. But other than that, just go for it. I think viscose is a lovely fabric to work with. Great for, I've got a pussy bow blouse by Sew Over It, which is available on our website. I've got one of those in viscose. I've made, I can't think off the top of, there's another blouse that I wore this week that's got like a candy stripe and a floral print on it, and that was a birder pattern that I made in viscose. So I'll try and remember to link to those patterns below for you, Donna. But yes, go for it. It's a lovely fabric to work with, great for all year round as well. Janet Hatfield and Diane asked, could you give me any advice on buying a cover stitch machine, as I'm not in the market for an expensive model? Your advice would be greatly appreciated. So the two that stand out for me, Janet and Diane, are the Brother CV3550, which retails at, it's usually about £589. Obviously prices fluctuate depending on offers that might be on at the time or whatever, but all the prices are always accurate on our website, so you can check on there. And then there's the Janome CPX 2000, which is about £529. Again, you know, the prices might change depending on offers that, you know, are put on by the manufacturers. But both of those models, they are the cheaper end models, and both of them do a fantastic job. I've had a go on both of them. I found them sort of quite easy to thread, easy to sew on. I actually took one of them, I think it was the Janome, I took it to an event at Loughborough University that I did a couple of years ago, and a couple of people had a go on it there and found it to be nice and easy to use as well. So yeah, they're both great sort of reasonably priced cover stitch machines. But the other thing to consider is if you've already got an overlocker, you might want to perhaps sell that and then use the money that you get from that to put towards buying a combined overlocker and cover stitch machine. That's what I've got. I've got a Baby Lock Desire 3, and what that allows me to do is switch between overlocking and cover stitching. So you just move the needles. There's two different places where you can insert the needles on the needle bar. The ones at the back are for when you're overlocking, and the one at the front is for when you are cover stitching. So it's more expensive, but it does everything. And there is a FAF model like that that's a bit cheaper than the Baby Lock models, which is £1,229-ish. Check on the website again for the current prices. So that's something else to consider and bear in mind. Some people like the dual purpose machines. I do, because I sew in the dining room, so I have to be able to pack everything away when I finish, which is really annoying. I really want to turn our spare room into a sewing room, but that's for another day. So it's better for me to have one machine. But if you're lucky enough to have a sewing room, some people then say, well, I don't want to have to faff around switching between, you know, cover stitch and overlock, or I'd rather have a dedicated machine for each task and be able to jump between the machines. So that's something to bear in mind. Diane did ask about baby lock overlockers as well, specifically. And what I would say about baby lock, what I always say to everybody is that, you know, they are more expensive than all the other brands, but they are absolutely wonderful machines to use. I'm not saying this because I want to sell them, or, you know, because I'm, you know, there's no sort of reason other than my genuine passion for these machines. I've been very, very lucky. I've always had a baby lock overlocker. I started with an Imagine, which was one of the old, more basic models, and then I upgraded to the Desire 3, which does the cover stitch and the overlock. But all of them, apart from the very cheapest model, you don't have to mess around with tensions, so you never have to worry about the needle tension. You've just got a stitch selector dial which you can use to sew with different fabrics and in different stitches under different circumstances. They're jet air threading, so they're really, really easy to thread. You just pop the thread in a port, press a button, and it flies out the looper, so you don't have to worry about trying to thread loopers. They produce fantastic results every time. You know, I never have an issue where I'm sitting there thinking I'm just not happy with that stitch. What do I need to change? What do I need to do? It just, I get it out and it just goes, you know, it's not a problem. And just the threading, I think that is a really big part of it. You know, you don't have to thread the needles and the loopers in any specific order. You can just thread them in any order. If one of the threads breaks, which has never happened to me, you can just replace that thread. On some overlockers you have to take them all off and start again from the beginning because you have to do them in a specific order. So yeah, that's why I love Baby Lock, and they are just wonderful, wonderful machines. Now, all of this chat about overlockers and cover stitches, they are in limited supply, as are sewing machines at the moment, and this sort of comes on to another question that somebody's asked about the challenges we're facing as a result of COVID-19. Because of the huge impact on manufacturing earlier in the year, it does mean a lot of these machines are in short supply, so we're getting our hands on as many as we can, and as soon as they're available they are on our website, but our full range isn't on our website at the moment because some of the models just aren't available at the moment. So yeah, just bear that in mind, that, you know, you might not be able to see what you want there, but as soon as we can get them, they're coming in and they're going back on the website. So yeah, just check on the website for details. And then the time goes so quickly on these Q&As. I'm just going to answer one more question from Gemma Davidson, which is, what is your favourite and least liked parts of your job? So I think the favourite part of my job is the fact it's so creative. You know, it's all centred around sewing, which I absolutely love. But then that engagement with you guys is the bit that really brings it to life for me, and it really helps me to stay motivated and excited and enthusiastic about sewing, because I'm always thinking about what to vlog about next. You know, I'm constantly looking at what new patterns we've had in, what new fabrics we've had in, and I love all of that. I love all of those new products and new ideas coming in and putting those together, and then hearing the lovely feedback that I get off you guys is just, I honestly can't tell you how much it motivates and inspires me. You know, it really does, and I'm so grateful to you for it. People say such lovely things and it really does mean ever such a lot to me. So that's the bit that I just get like a massive buzz out of, finding new products and seeing the new products that are coming in, you know, and the fact that it's I feel I can be authentic and genuine. You know, I don't feel like, I don't think I could ever sell things or talk about things that I wasn't genuinely passionate about, because I just would find it really difficult. But the fact that I absolutely love all of this stuff and I love sharing it with you, and I get that massive buzz when people say, oh, thanks for that tip, Lucy, I tried it, it's worked wonders. Or sometimes I get a message saying, I've been sewing for years and years and years and I didn't know what that was for, and I've just tried it and it's really made such a difference to my sewing. You know, those sorts of things, oh, it's just music to my ears. It really is. I absolutely love it. My least favourite part of my job really is just never having enough time to do everything. You know, we are a small business, and that is the nature of small business. I used to work in a much bigger organisation before, and there was lots more people and resources and departments, you know, to get different things done. But you obviously have to be a jack of all trades when you're in a small business. You know, there are times when I have to get involved in you know, just the day-to-day running of the business, and some of my other things have to get put to one side, and I'm always constantly juggling. But then I say that's my least favourite part, but it means it's never boring, you know, and I think I am the sort of person that actually probably quite relishes that challenge, and I think I probably would get bored if I was just doing the same thing all the time. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks ever so much, everybody, once again, for all your questions. I'll keep running with this series until I've answered them all. As I mentioned at the start of the video, everything I talked about today, I'll pop individual links to all the products I talked about today and some of my makes and patterns and things that I mentioned. I'll go and do that now so I don't forget. And if you like what you see today, please like and subscribe, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.